In June 2023, a group of African youth came together with other experts to explore the future for youth in Africa's agri-food systems. Today, most of Africa's youth work in agri-food systems. They are employed across the entire value chain, from farming to transport, trading, processing, retail, and food services. The majority of youth make their living from the informal economy, often combining different jobs to earn an income. Looking to the future, Africa's population is growing. By 2050, it will nearly double. This will lead to a very large group of young, working-age people. Creating decent work opportunities for these young people is a critical challenge for Africa. Opportunities in the agri-food sector are a vital part of the solution. Africa's growing population, along with rising wealth, urbanization, and exports will drive a substantial expansion of the sector, creating new economic opportunities. However, at the same time, big changes in the agri-food sector are needed to tackle the impacts of climate change and resource degradation, and to ensure people are consuming a healthy diet. The workshop created a space for youth representatives to share their ambitions and the challenges they see. The workshop was guided by a Foresight framework for food systems change, developed by Foresight for Food. The framework is based on linking stakeholder engagement processes with a strong scientific evidence base to foster informed dialogue. The discussions were informed by a large set of data that had been gathered on changes occurring in agri-food systems, demographics, employment, the environment, trade, and geopolitics. To create a shared understanding of Africa's agri-food systems and youth employment, participants developed rich pictures. These visually illustrated the key relationships and dynamics of the systems. A deeper level of analysis on specific issues was done using causal loop maps. Central to the Foresight process is developing different scenarios of how the future might unfold.
2023, and there's the news that government has...
Scenario development is a powerful way of helping stakeholders to explore and create the futures they desire.
We also have sustainable agri-industries.
So the state...
It enables future risks and opportunities to be explored to improve planning, strategy, and policy.
Travel from one African country to the other without having to pay for visa.
The systems and scenario analysis provided a basis for the workshop participants to then explore pathways forward for generating dignified and fulfilling work opportunities in Africa's future agri-food systems. The Foresight process created a space for youth voice and leadership. It offered a framework for thinking critically and creatively about the future and the actions that will be needed to create a better tomorrow for Africa's youth.
When I was growing up,
Key messages coming from the youth participants included the need for an overall mindset change about the future, the importance of a youth voice at all levels of decision making, and the value of youth groups connecting and networking across the continent.
Agribusiness is one of the largest sectors that is taking up the African continent. It is therefore important for us to invest in young people in this sector and making sure that this links to the development of the Agenda 2063 of the African Union and the objectives of the regional economic communities.
In the government, the local government, the national government, and in Africa at large, we see that policies are being made for the youth, but they are not being included in the conversation. Another challenge is the mindset. We look down on agriculture and we don't see it as a source of income. So changing our mindsets along that line would really go a long way in having more youth interested in the agribusiness space.
Central government. Our African government needs to ensure they enact policies that are youth responsive to enable them not only participate in the agricultural sector, but in the other broader sectors. There needs to be an inclusion of youth in the decision-making processes of policies that govern the agri-food systems in the African government. What we see currently in the African continent, less youth engagement in policy formulation in issues that really affect them, and in this case, even in the agri-food system. So when we break that divide, when we break that barrier, our youth will be able to meaningfully engage or meaningfully contribute in the development of the agri-food system.
I look forward to a scenario where the youth in Africa will be able to get sufficient information about the market demands and information on where to access finance for them to go into trade. I also look forward for the youth of Africa to get mentorship from those who are already participating in this agri-food systems.
I think Foresight is a powerful tool for convening the youth towards collective intelligence that then leads to collective action towards desirable futures. And so if you put this powerful tool in the midst of young people who are in agribusiness, they have a powerful tool to empower them and to strengthen their capability to think about plausible ways of improving the agri-food system, and therefore it becomes a huge benefit for them in their businesses, in policy making. So definitely a powerful tool.
The Foresight workshop illustrated the value of bringing youth together to help craft the understanding, vision, and commitment needed to shift Africa's agri-food systems for a brighter, fairer, and more sustainable future. The seeds for new alliances of young Africans working together for positive change were planted, creating hope and inspiration. The unfolding story is one of young, passionate change makers with big dreams for African agri-food systems, claiming their right to shape the future for the better of all.
Well, it's been an amazing and wonderful opportunity, and this is one meeting that has brought quite a large number of young people, from diverse backgrounds to come and discuss issues around the future of youth in terms of food systems in Africa. And this is really quite refreshing because they bring the diversity of their views to really try to develop a sort of scenario map that will help Africa in attaining its development goals. This work actually also partly delivers the mandate of FARA, that's the Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, and the work that we have been doing with the Africa Foresight Academy, which is also located in FARA.
My best moment of the conference so far has been meeting people, because there's so many ideas that we're exchanging, our perspectives, just reinforcing the fact that Africa is almost like one big country. After this workshop, I'd like two things. One, I would hope that we can create a lobbying forum as participants of this conference with what we'd call like a patron who will be able to open up doors for us, to be able to lobby the government, to lobby stakeholders, because fine, we are youth, but we do not have the power to get into certain rooms, which some of these sponsors would be able to, these patrons would be able to do for us. And the second thing would be, I hope a mentorship system can be started that allows young people to be able to access finance, to access knowledge, to access skills, and grow, and then move that on to the next and to the next and to the next person.
My favorite moment has actually been the interactive sessions that we've been having. I've been able to meet people from other countries in Africa, which I've not really had the opportunity to, and discussing the problems that we have in Africa, which is like a similar thing.
What's different about this particular workshop was the framework used in the whole thing. I like the way no assumption was made. Every single problem was devised herein at the meeting. We made the problems, we profiled solutions, every single thing were suggested by participants at the workshop.